Hello guys, welcome back. We are on evaluating ICOs part 3. Now with parts 1 and 2, you guys should be able to figure out enough from the website, from the white paper, even from various other chat rooms, what is going on with that ICO, if it's good or bad, if the content is legit, if it's a scam or not. So parts 1 and 2, these are things you can do on your own. For part 3, we're going to look at the other factors that are kind of like factors that are like asymmetrical information, meaning information that's not really available to most of the public. And that's really through networking, through knowing other funds, through just having, meeting a lot of different people in the crypto world. And this is where RocketFuel can help. We can help answer questions, see what people are looking at. And the first thing you gotta know from, besides the traditional venture capitalist model, is who else is looking at this particular deal. Which funds, which investment groups, which syndicates, high profile people, are there groups, are there credible groups actually looking at it? So if people are credible and they are like speaking very highly of this project, it's probably good to look at. So a lot of our deal flow, a lot of the projects we look at come from, in fact, word of mouth and from lots of hype and where everybody is kind of looking at. Word spreads out around very fast in the crypto industry. It's kind of like traditional VC as well. How hard is it to get in? Now, if everyone is clamoring to get in, usually this is kind of the private sale phase when more people know about it, then you almost know it's a good project, but at the same time, it could also be bad if the wrong people are getting in, people that aren't good at evaluating projects as well. So this one is like, still depends on how good the project is, but it does show how much demand there is for getting in a deal or an ICO. So the harder it is to get into, most likely the more it's going to go up in general because people are trying very hard to get in. Now, we are in a bear market phase. This point might be different now. There are, again, not that many projects coming out. Even the good ones are going to wait until the Ethereum and Bitcoin prices are going up so that they can raise more money, right? The buying power overall is higher when Bitcoin and Ethereum are higher. So how hard is it to get in? Are there lots of people trying to get in? The harder, the more likely the ICO is good. So again, first one is who's looking at it. Second one is how much demand is there? How hard is it to get in? Now, this is really hard to find. What deal did other people get? Like for the seed round, did they get 50% off? For the private round, did they get 20% off? How much of the capital was 50% off? And in part 2, we evaluated, well, if the private sale people got a certain discount, if they dump onto exchange, their bottom price is lower. So this puts why is my font so small all of a sudden? Let's get this font size back to 20 here. It says 20. Oh, okay. So what is the floor, really, right? So if you know other people got it for, let's say, 5 cents a coin, and then it goes on ICOs for public is 20 cents, you got to be very careful of this project. You know, people are willing to sell it for like 6 cents and still make a profit, right? So this is very, very important. It's good to know what the release schedule is too. So what's the release? And then you can kind of, like with Quark Chain in the earlier videos, we said July, August, so that you can see like different dumping points because people get their access to the tokens. So what is the floor? Where are people dumping at? You know, because people need to make money, so they're going to sell all their tokens, right? So you got to be careful about these things. Next thing is, what future exchanges do they have in the pipeline? Now, again, this is information that's very hard to find out. You got to just know people. Lately, there hasn't been that many exchange releases, and then the ones that we're seeing seem to come out of nowhere, so people aren't talking as much either. So I don't know, you know, we might not necessarily know this one, but if there's a really tight network, some people might find out and spread the word, and then some people buy before the price, before hitting exchanges. And this is probably not ethical in some regards, but this is something that some people have information of and buy ahead of time. And even analyzing prices, you can see accumulation happen for some coins, and that might indicate that it could hit an exchange as well. So again, part 3 is all about parts that are not on the website. These are things that are like not insider information, but information you need from being well networked and well connected. Market makers. So this is a new term I'm bringing to this community. And then again, keep this to yourselves because this is not always true, factual, but there are deals that set aside some money to buy back the tokens on the exchange, sometimes for even higher price. So basically, let's say they sell it for 5 cents. They might have a market maker that will buy it up to 10 cents, right? So market, we'll just say MM, buys to 10 cents. And then if the price goes up, the market maker they don't do anything. They might actually sell some of their coins as well as it's going up. But when it goes back down, let's say it goes to 8, these guys they have a contract to keep it at 10 cents, let's say. And then over time, this 5-cent coin should be 5 cents, but these market makers are keeping it elevated at 2x, 100% at 10 cents. So basically, again, there are market makers out there. So you might know if you're well connected who the market makers are for certain projects, so you know that the coin will hit a certain price when it comes out. But again, this is just like rumors. It's not factual. We don't know for sure, but they do exist. So you got to know which market makers are attached to a certain ICO. Okay, so this is probably not as well-known information to the general public, but these exist, and a lot of times we hear rumors on who's attached to what. Now, there's a couple more influencer deals. You might hear some YouTube influencers, some people that are well-connected, people that everyone knows about, even big VC funds, and then they might try to pump up the price, right? They might buy in, and then you might get in early with them, and then you probably can expect them to elevate the price up, release press articles, just put it on exchanges. So there are people that if you know they're inside, then you can expect the ICO to do well on release. So basically, know who can advertise or market or get coins on exchanges. These are, again, asymmetrical information. If you're well connected, well networked, you'll know who else is in the deal. It's kind of the same thing as who else is looking at it. But if you know the influencers or the VCs or funds that are really going to help market this ICO, you will have this project in particular would have a great advantage compared to other ones. So again, these are all very, very important for moving the price up. Now, another thing is when to sell. We briefly mentioned it earlier, timing with token releases. So basically, sometimes if a project raised $10 million, they might just release $1 million worth of tokens every month, for example. Let's just keep it easy, 12 million. So they release a little bit of every month until it's over, right? So at some point each month, it's possible for it to dump. So the question is, like, when do you sell it? Do you want to sell before those dumps happen, or when to buy? Because sometimes if there's not a good market maker, the coins will hit the public exchange, fall really far because people are just dumping, and that might be a good time to buy as well. Or if the token has a monthly release schedule, you buy it as the tokens are being released and dumping the market down. Again, all these things we can point out within our community. We might see something dump and be like, well, this is clearly some big whale dumping, and the price is a good deal right now. Those are kind of harder to catch because they're very in real time, and they might come back up right away as well sometimes. So these two things, again, are asymmetrical information. You only see the results after the fact, but when to buy could be reactive as well, whereas when to sell is more active. You want to sell before you anticipate a dump to come. Now, we've lately been seeing lots of people doing OTC deals, meaning they buy an ICO and then they sell it to you just through a verbal agreement that, okay, I bought it for, let's say, $10,000. If you buy from me for $20,000, I'll give it to you instead. And I think this is going to go 10x. So you're getting a great deal. That's what you're going to see with some over-the-counter deals. We personally avoid these. Not only is it not ethical, but if the ICO finds out that you're doing such a deal, they may revoke your tokens from you as well. So I would avoid off what is this, off contract deals. These again, just not ethical, not good for the community, and usually people who buy OTC get screwed. People who pay like 2x, 3x for the original are probably going to get screwed, especially in a bear market. And then finally, future valuations and even raises. Right now, we are not certain. We see some projects that are worth $100 million because it has a certain type of project, and some projects might be worth $10 million because it's a certain type of project. Maybe it's not infrastructure project or blockchain project. Usually, like for example, Ethereum is worth more than the projects on top of it. So a lot of the big projects like Icon, OneChain, they're actually, the blockchain itself are worth more money. We don't know if this is going to last forever, right? We don't know if over time one of these blockchains like has zero adoption, so it just goes to zero, which is what a lot of these projects are trending to. And another thing is we don't know if a project is coming from ICO and going to have the same multiplier as these other projects that are similar. So let's see, similar types of projects may not behave the same in the future. So this is something to watch out for. We want more data to see how the current ICOs we have are performing. As you guys know, we're in dozens of ICOs that are still being withheld, that we haven't gotten back yet, and we don't know how they're going to perform in this new bear market. And another thing is the raises, the raise sizes. Like in the past, people were raising $30 million was the standard size to raise money. It's ridiculous in the traditional VC world, right? Traditional VC, you want $1 million or $2 million in the first round, and then maybe you go for a Series A, which is like 5 to 10 million instead. So these projects have raised too much money. They set the precedent too high. So now $30 million might be too much. So in the past, 30 mil, oops. Now, don't know. So really, nowadays, if I'm looking for an ICO, I want to see like $5 million or $10 million raise for a really good project as well. And then you can say like, okay, now in a bear market, this type of project is worth $50 million, let's say. $10 million valuation, let's say, is a 5x return. So 500% is a good likely winner for this ICO. But again, this is just speculation. We don't know. We don't have enough data right now to see how a lot of the newer ICOs will behave. But it's good to keep monitoring and checking with us in the community as to how things are going. So part 3, I think I talked very fast, but I try to put some notes here. Again, these are all asymmetrical information. It's not, a lot of this information is not public. It's mainly through word of mouth, which also could be not true or not true. It could also be true information that you hear from us, like, oh, we heard that this guy is in, we heard like this huge VC is in this company or on this project, we should try to get in that project. A lot of our deals are start from that alone, and then we evaluate the project. There's also times where a big VC might join a project and it's really bad, so we don't get on that project. So again, these are all, you take these with a grain of salt. You work with us to figure out what are good deals, what are good ICOs. But yeah, part 3 of this video is really going to be about the community and what you guys hear, what we hear, and information sharing, and trying to figure out together what is a good investment. So that is all for ICOs for the time being. Once I get more data on, let's say, the new ICOs coming out, what are their valuations, how much are they multiplying or going down in value, that is really important information for you guys to know. So once I get more data, there might be a part 4, or it might just be a newsletter or an article, thought piece in our membership here. So yes, this is a lot of information to soak in. I expect you to just maybe pause the video, read the notes here. But overall, this is part 3, the asymmetrical information video. So see you guys in the Telegram or in the community. Look forward to hearing more feedback on what you guys want to hear, what else you guys want to hear. I've already mentioned a few of the next videos that are coming up, but yes, hopefully you've learned a lot in this video in particular. So I'll see you guys